dive. Today, we're digging into AI prompting, but maybe looking past the usual advice, right? Forget just writing longer, better questions.
Yeah.
We're really trying to get at the difference between just using AI, asking for quick answers, and actually leveraging it, making it a real partner in thinking.
Exactly. And I think the key insight here, the really valuable bit, is realizing the limit isn't usually the AI itself. It's what we expect from it. If you want that real leverage, you stop asking for just the final thing, the output.
Okay.
You start asking for, like, the structure first.
Yeah.
For clarity, frameworks. You ask it to guide the thinking before it writes.
Right, so changing the expectation, that's where the power is. And the single biggest lever for that change, according to the source, it's about who you tell the AI to be. Defining that role up front. Okay, let's unpack that a bit. The idea of prompts as, what did the source call them? Cognitive triggers.
Yeah, cognitive triggers. It's a great way to put it.
So not just commands, but something that actually shapes how the AI sort of sets up its thinking process before it even responds.
Precisely. Think about assigning that role.
Yeah.
It's not just flavor text.
Yeah.
You're essentially forcing the AI into a specific mental mode. The source gives a really clear example of this. So you could give it a really basic command like, write me code to do X.
Standard stuff.
Right, and the AI just defaults to being a kind of code generator. Spits it out fast, but often, without much context or thought for how it fits together. That's useful, sure, but it's not leverage.
But the strategic move is to get involved earlier in its, internal process.
Yes, you give it a totally different identity, a higher level trigger. Something like, okay, you're a senior software engineer, you're mentoring a junior dev. Walk me through the logic for X, step by step.
Ah, okay. So it's not just generating code anymore.
No, now it has to reason. It's wearing the mentor hat, so it has to prioritize explaining the why, the structure, the thinking, not just speed.
And it's the same underlying AI model doing this.
Exactly the same tool. But because you set that initial cognitive trigger, that specific role, you're basically forcing it down a different, more sophisticated mental pathway.
Okay, so if changing the role changes the reasoning, the source talks about different sort of hidden thinking modes, gears almost, that most people aren't using.
That's right. It breaks it down into 3 modes, essentially. And the vast majority of users, they only ever touch the first one.
Yeah, executor mode.
Executor. Just do the thing.
Yep. Generate this, write that, answer this, simple command execution. But the real power, the leverage we're talking about, lies in prompting the AI to use the other modes. Getting it to plan, to analyze, to judge, even to explain its reasoning before it just generates the final output. That's the strategic shift.
Okay, but hang on. Does just assigning a fancy role, like, I don't know, you are a Nobel laureate physicist, automatically get you there? Is the role enough on its own? What if you get the role but don't push for that planning part? That's a really important distinction. The role kind of sets the stage, right? It gives the perspective, the tone. But the specific instructions you give it next, that's what dictates the action, the internal process it has to follow. The key is demanding that it engages those higher level modes first. You explicitly tell it, okay, before you write anything, first plan this out, analyze the requirements, judge the best approach, explain the structure.
So you're forcing the planning phase.
You're forcing it. You're making that usually hidden step explicit, and the quality just jumps because you've mandated that strategic thinking up front.
Let's make that really concrete then. Forget generic instructions. Demand the structure. The source uses a great example for developers, building a technical tutorial. So the usual kind of ineffective way most people might do it is just generate a tutorial on building an API with Flask.
Right, and you'll get something back, probably a block of text, maybe some code snippets.
But then you have to do the work of structuring it, making it clear, figuring out the flow.
Exactly. Now compare that to the strategic prompt. First, define the role or the agency. You're a technical documentation strategist. Your goal is to teach a beginner developer how to build an API with Flask. Be super clear, make 0 assumptions.
Okay, role set. But here comes the key part.
This is the non-negotiable bit, the instruction that forces the different thinking mode. You add, crucially, you must first break this tutorial down into logical sections. 1. Concept overview. 2. Setup steps. 3. Core logic code. 4. Common errors. 5. Deployment. Do not write the content until you have outlined this 5-part structure.
Wow, okay, that demand for structure before writing, that feels like the game changer.
It is. You've essentially forced the AI to act like an editor or an instructional designer before it acts like a writer. It has to create a blueprint first.
So it can't just dump code anymore.
Nope. It completely shifts. It has to think like a teacher. It's forced to consider the logical progression, anticipate where a beginner might get stuck, follow the structure you demanded. It's the difference between getting raw material and getting a usable, structured framework.
So let's zoom out. Why does this actually matter in the real world? For people trying to build things, get stuff done, why does changing the AI's job title lead to, actual results?
Because you fundamentally change what the AI is for you. It stops being just a text generator and becomes more like a system builder.
How so?
It stops just giving you words and starts giving you structure, frameworks,
Yeah.
skeletons for your projects. That's where the term cognitive leverage really hits home. The AI becomes a framework generator
Okay.
and also a thought partner. It helps organize complex stuff, takes messy ideas, and puts them into a coherent flow based on the role and structure you set. It becomes a structured knowledge builder, not just spitting back answers.
And the source material actually backs this up with real-world results, right? This isn't just a theory.
No, the author's very clear. They directly attribute building significant things like writing 42 structured books, launching the Rethink AI magazine, developing large-scale prompt libraries specifically to this mental shift.
Not just asking better questions.
Not primarily. It was about designing better roles and setting those clear, rigorous structural expectations for the AI. That's the key. Stop treating it like a search engine. Start treating it like a specialist you've hired for a specific cognitive task. That's the force multiplier.
Which brings us right back to that core idea, doesn't it? The real power isn't just in what you ask. It's in who you ask the AI to become before it even starts to answer.
Yeah.
And when you really get that, when you master that shift, your prompts stop being just simple instructions. They become like systems of thought. You're basically designing these little custom cognitive environments for the AI to work inside, ensuring the strategic thinking happens upfront every time. So, final thought for everyone listening, especially since prompting is becoming such a fundamental skill, think about something you need to do today. Maybe outline a report, plan a complex email, structure a presentation, something that feels a bit messy. How could you apply this documentation strategist idea right now? Force the AI to first create that clear, logical structure, the sections, the flow, before it generates a single word of the actual content. Give that role, demand that structure. Go try that identity shift. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.